it's really for us to, in the main, adopt minutes, all outstanding minutes. First session would look at adoption of the minutes of the portfolio committee. We'll then, once we are done with that, get to the ones for the subcommittee on the MDDA to formally approve the minutes. We do so for also legal compliance, that minutes were approved such that recommendations or resolutions would have taken. It would mean that they were duly processed by meetings that we would have held. Maybe let me take also the opportunity at this point to just test with members in terms of how to proceed, looking at two issues. One being that there are also many plenaries that members may be interested, as they are expected to be interested, to join them later in the afternoon. But also because we are dealing with quite a number of minutes, that maybe the other thing would be to really say to members that instead of us going line by line in the minutes, members have had an opportunity of going through the minutes, and that we can probably point on the areas where we needed to make corrections in the minutes. But I also want to maybe throw this to members so that once we agree on proceeding, at least we know what we are doing. Is that in the minutes, I'm sure members, having gone through them, you would have noticed some grammatical errors, especially from the principle of writing minutes that they are written in the past. So you'll still find some of those, including just spelling mistakes that needs to be corrected. If the meeting would agree, I would suggest that indeed, instead of going line by line trying to make the corrections, maybe agree that on this set of minutes, certain members would indicate that there were corrections that they would have liked to submit on the grammar or spelling or whatever you call it. But in terms of the content and the context given, it still reflects the true reflection of deliberations of the meeting. Then in that score, we'll be able to proceed to adopt, but allowing members to still make those submissions of changing must to would and all that. So that's what I want us to look at before we are confirmed to be co-reading, because it would appear that we are almost a quorum now. Just to confirm if members would want us to go that route so that we are able to proceed quicker, taking it again into account that some of the minutes had already formed part of the report that we have tabled in the National Assembly as part of resolutions or recommendations that were to be considered by the House. So may I just open up for comments on the guidance given, unless members would still want us to go through line by line, which is page by page like we usually do. But I was just saying, looking at the number of minutes we need to deal with, we just need to derive means to process them quicker. May I just check on that, honorable members, before we get confirmation if we are co-reading at this point or not?
Chairperson, we have a quorum. Thank you.
Okay. So we have a quorum. So I've just put it, honorable members. May I just check if you agreed to the suggestion, or you would want us to approach differently.
Chair, it's Mackenzie. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Honorable Mackenzie.
Thank you, Chair. Can I speak?
Yes, you can.
Good afternoon, Chair and colleagues. Firstly, my apologies for joining late. That was it was not acceptable. I do apologize for that. Could I ask just a clarity-seeking question because I arrived late.
Honorable Kubeka, if you can mute. Thank you. Yes, Honorable Mackenzie.
Thank you, Chair. Because I arrived late, are we talking about all the minutes in their entirety, or the MDDA minutes, or the ICASA minutes? I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I'm sitting in a subcommittee or full committee. Thank you, Chair. Just clarity, if you can indulge me.
All right. No, thanks, Honorable Mackenzie. As you said, based on the notice, we'll deal with the portfolio. Then those that will sit in the subcommittee of MDDA will then proceed in the next round.
Thank you for that clarity, Chair. I would support your suggestion. If I can perhaps suggest that you just say we deal with the minutes of the 7th of May. Are there any points there? No, and then we move on to the next one. Is that what you're proposing?
Yeah, that's what I'm proposing. So in case there are, we'll then allow you to make the submission to Secretariat, especially the grammatical ones. But more importantly is whether in terms of the content of the minutes, they are a reflection, true reflection of what we would have discussed. So in that way, we would be able to afford members to also join other activities of the day, but would have had formally adopted minutes. Honorable Kubeka, were you speaking? Or Honorable Mackenzie?
Thank you, Chair. I am comfortable with that approach. If we could just not rush it as we move through, because I would have to now open up each minutes and just have a look at, to differentiate between grammar and content. But thank you. I would support that proposal. Thank you, Chair.
Right. Honorable Kubeka?
Thank you, Chair. I was supporting the manner in which we are presenting, to say we rather go with those minutes on their dates, and then somebody who's having maybe a concern on the grammatical error or whatsoever, he will raise a chair.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, thank you, Honorable Kubeka. So the motion is seconded. Will now, honorable members, get to the actual minutes. As suggested, I will indeed try to ensure that we are on the same minutes, because they may also not be appearing in the order in terms of how you receive them. If we then agree, honorable members, I will now go to the first sets of minutes. And I just want to be sure that you all have that. That's the minutes of the 3rd December 2019. Now just check if there are members who want to comment. I do have some corrections to make, so that's going to be recorded as such. So I'll submit it to the administration. That's more related to grammar, as it were. Can I just get any other member, if there are no corrections to make, at least have a mover and a seconder for the 3rd of December 2019?
Chair?
Yes, Honorable Kubeka.
I'll move on for the adoption, Chair, of these minutes that are presented. I think it's a true reflection of the minutes that we have discussed on all the matters, Chair. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Honorable Mackenzie, I saw your hand was
Chair,
up.
Down. Thank
Okay,
you.
you're fine. You're covered. So I take it that you agree to the minutes in that score, Honorable Mackenzie, because I saw you raising your hand whilst the Honorable Kubeka was. So you are fine with the minutes.
Sorry,
because
Chairperson.
I want the formal second. Yes.
Chair, you're fishing for a seconder. I'm not going to second yet. I'm still trying to navigate my way around my
but if somebody wants to speak,
thank you, Chair.
Am I?
Yes, Chair.
Yes.
Chairperson?
Okay, that's Honorable Thosi.
Yes, I just joined, Chairperson, and I just need 1 second to pull up the 3rd of December minutes because I don't recall which minutes. There are several of them in which I am indicated as having been absent in the interviews. I'm not sure if that's in the interviews for ICASA. I'm not sure if that's what you're dealing with already, but my apologies. I just want to check because I was present in all those interviews.
Yes, Honorable Ndlozi, what we are dealing with is the one of the 3rd of December. There would have been a presentation there by ICASA. There would have been
no, that's fine. You can pass me on that. I thought it's relating to the ICASA interviews.
No.
All right. Thanks. Sorry for that. Yeah.
That's where we are now. It's the December ones, right? Can I just get a seconder formally so that we pass the minutes? Honorable Kubeka is moved. Can we get a seconder for adoption of minutes?
Seconding, Chair.
Okay, Honorable Faku seconds. Can we then move to the minutes of the 4th of February? Again, there it will just be a matter of corrections on my side, which I will also submit. But may I just check with honorable members if there are any matters to raise there? If not, can I get also a mover and a seconder for the 4th of February?
I move, Chair.
Honorable Faku moves. Seconded? Who's seconding? Just for record.
I'm seconding, Chair. Gumbu.
Honorable Gumbu seconds. Minutes of the 18th of February. Again, except for the grammatical matters there, may I just check if there are other members who may want to raise any matter? In the absence of that, can we also have again a formal mover and seconder? 18 Feb.
Sorry, Chair. Can I just make an observation?
Yes, Honorable McKenzie. Sorry.
Thank you, Chair. Sorry, let me just pull it up. I wasn't at the meeting. I'd been shot. So I was still recovering from that gunshot. But I notice on representation attendance under Ministry Department and SOEs, there's a Miss S. Tembi, who's organization deputy minister. I would imagine the organization would be the presidency, and then her designation would be something else. And the same applies to Mr. Nkuna. It looks like the columns have been switched around.
Okay. Yes, Honorable McKenzie.
Saying on page 1?
Yes, Honorable McKenzie.
Yes.
As we agreed on that principle, grammatical errors we can correct. All we need is to at least record that you have issues on a particular page, which we'll be able to submit. I agree with you, Ms. T. Sway, will be deputy minister in the presidency, right? But all I was saying was that, as agreed, we'll at least put it on record that there were corrections to be made there, and we'll make the corrections, and the final set of minutes which you have approved will then be circulated for members, so you still have a chance to make that submission.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Sorry, Chairperson.
Yes, Thembi Nkosi.
My apologies, Chairperson. I've just received a request from broadcast services that they're requesting members that when they're speaking, they switch on the camera. I think the meeting is live on YouTube, Chair.
All right. No, thanks. I take it that members at least have now come to this point of understanding this part, that those who speak would be the ones who switch on the camera and then speak, unless there are problems of connectivity, like it's usually the case, but would still want to hear members. So if we agree, so we would have dealt with those minutes. Just that I've put them in a particular order, and I just want to check if I didn't jump, honourable members. I think there would be the 11th of February minutes, which are more in order in any way. And then we dealt with the 18th, right? Can we get to the next set of minutes? Honourable McKenzie, as I said, I've noted the point you've raised. I'm saying even if you were not in the meeting, it is not about correcting the content of the meeting, but it's merely the grammatical issues that need to be addressed.
Chairperson,
yes,
you've skipped 11th of February.
Yes, that's why I was saying that I'm going back there, that I see that the 11th would have been skipped. 11th February minutes, just that it's because I don't have a line there, it says in order. 11th February minutes. May I just check if members have got any issue there? And if not, can we just for formality do the same, the mover and the seconder, so that we can move quicker? February minutes, I tabled them for consideration.
Chairperson?
Yes.
It's Honorable Kubega.
Honorable Kubega,
Yes.
switch on camera.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. Yes, Chair. I move for the adoption of the minutes as a true reflection of that day, Chairperson. Thank you.
So there's a mover. Can I get a seconder?
Seconding, Chair.
Honorable Faku, seconds. Then that takes us out of that one. I'm trying to check if my list follows properly. I don't have anything on February. I have the minutes of the 3rd of March. Is that correct, Ajira?
That's correct, Chair.
Okay. So I have the minutes of the 3rd of March. Again, it will be grammatical errors like Mr. Majosi instead of Miss Majosi, and so on. We can make those submissions. May I just check, members, if you have got any matter you want to record on those minutes? And if not, can we also proceed on the same basis, mover and seconder?
I move for the adoption of the minutes, Chairperson. Gumbu.
Honorable Kumbu has moved. Seconder. Can I get a seconder?
Seconded, Chair.
Honorable Faku seconds. Can we then move to the minutes of the 10th of March? Again there, it would be on the grammatical errors. This is the meeting where the sporting rights would have been presented. Maybe the only thing we may need to be assisted on, legally speaking, would be that because it was a joint meeting, do we approve the minutes on our side, circulate with the other committee on sports, arts and culture, or what then happens? May I just check on that, because I don't know how joint meetings would have been handled before. That was our first.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, the standard is that we adopt them here, and then we'll then transmit them to the Portfolio Committee on Sports, Arts and Culture for adoption as well. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. So I present the minutes for your consideration, honorable members. May I get a mover and seconder then?
I move, Chair.
Honorable Faku moves. And may I get a seconder?
Honorable Kubega is seconding Honorable Faku.
Honorable Kubega seconds. That takes us to the next set of minutes. You'll assist that side, Ajira. Mine says 8 May minutes.
That's correct, Chairperson.
Okay, if that's correct, again there it is just a few grammatical. 8 May. The 8th of May. Yes, minutes.
8 May.
Right. So you'd remember that relates to the COVID now, the presentations from GSIS and so on. May I then check if members have got any matter to raise? As I said, there are some corrections to make there grammatically, and that could still be forwarded. May I just check, members, if there's anything? Otherwise, I would need a mover and seconder. Can I get a mover? Honorable Mackenzie, you are muted. Okay.
I'll move, Chair.
Honorable Mackenzie moves. Can I get a seconder? Can I get a seconder for record?
Gumbu second, Chair.
Honorable Gumbu seconds. My list says 12 May minutes. Is that correct, Ajira?
Correct, Chair.
All right. That's what we would need to look at now. 12 May minutes. Few grammatical corrections there. May I then check if there are other members who would want to record that they would want to forward those? If not, can I get a mover and seconder?
I'm happy to move again, Chair.
Honorable Mackenzie moves. Can I get a seconder?
Honorable Kubega is seconding.
Honorable Kubega seconds. The 14th of May.
14th.
Also there, just to record again grammatical errors that may need to be corrected. May I then check if there are other members who would want to record that they would be making submission corrections? In the absence of that, May I also have, again, a mover and seconder for formal adoption of the minutes?
I move, Chair.
Honorable Faku moves. Can I get a seconder?
I'll second, Chair.
Honorable Mackenzie seconds. Then if mine is correct, then it will have the 15th of May. Is that correct, Ajura?
Correct, Chairperson.
That's when we had CETA and USASA presenting before us. Again, there, grammatical errors that would submit on. May I just check, honorable members, if you also have submissions to make for corrections on the 15th of May? In the absence of that, can I again have formal mover for adoption and a seconder?
I move for the adoption of the minutes. Gumbu.
Honorable Gumbu moves for adoption. Can I get a seconder?
Honorable Faku supports, Chair. Thanks.
Honorable Faku seconds. On the 16th of May, is that correct, Ajra?
Correct, Chairperson.
16th of May, I think one correction on my side there. May I just check if members would want to record anything on the 16th of May minutes? In the absence of that, may I again have a formal mover and seconder for adoption of the minutes?
I move for the adoption, Chair.
Honorable Faku moves. Honorable Becker, I see you want to second.
Yes. Honorable Becker, second, Chair.
Thank you. Minutes of the 19th of May 2020. Is that correct, Ajira?
Correct, Chairperson.
Yes, honorable members, I present the minutes for your consideration. Of course, there are a few grammatical corrections to make there. Honorable Mackenzie, unmute.
Thank
Yes.
you, Chair. Just on page 3, the opening and welcome, the chairperson welcomed the acting minister and the deputy minister of communications and digital technologies, but her presence is not. No, never mind. Sorry, Chair, withdraw. Sorry.
All right. Okay, Honorable Mackenzie, may I then get a mover and seconder?
Thank you, Chair. Honorable Faku, I move for the adoptions of the minutes.
Sorry, Chair.
Yes, Honorable Mackenzie. Sorry.
I beg your pardon, Chair. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit confused. Just before we move ahead, on page 4, recommendations, it says the committee deliberated on the annual performance plans and strategic plans of ICASA. That's under recommendations. Surely that should be the SABC. And is that a recommendation? And if you also look at the numbering, so you've got committee deliberations, and then you've got 4 recommendations. So on page 3, you've got committee deliberations, and then on page 4, you've got recommendations. And they talk about ICASA instead of the SABC.
Okay, so that's the correction to make. Let me just check, because I have like connection problems here. I have my notes on the side. You are dealing with the minutes of the 19th?
Yes. Yes, sir.
May 2020.
Yes.
And you're saying you are raising a point under 4, committee deliberations.
Yes, so it's yes, and it starts on page 3, and then the numbering on going to recommendations, that should be 5. And it
yes,
says,
I've also noted it.
And then it says the committee deliberated on the annual performance plans and strategic plans of ICASA. I think that, firstly, it's a deliberation, it's not a recommendation, and I would imagine that would be the SABC and not ICASA.
I to be
Chair, I'm going to invite you to my home and we can practice safe spacing. Get you out of the West Rand.
Honorable Mackenzie.
Your connection is bad, Chair.
Honorable Mackenzie.
Chair, I'm not sure if it's just me, but there seems to be a lot of latency on your connection. There we are.
Like, if you hear me now, Honorable Mackenzie.
Yes, I can hear you perfectly now, Chair.
Okay, yeah, if you can proceed because I couldn't hear you.
Thank you. Other than those, those corrections, under 4, the committee, I'll start again. The committee deliberated on the annual performance plans and strategic plans of ICASA. That's not a recommendation. So that should be out of there and perhaps put up into, it just shouldn't be there at all. I actually think it's a cut and paste error. So it would just be a formal report, would be under the recommendations. If you can hear me, Chair?
No, I can hear you, Honorable Mackenzie.
Do you see what I'm talking about? Thank you.
Yeah, as I said, I've noted those matters that we need us to correct properly. We'll do so. But I know that there was already a mover. And may I just check the seconder?
I'm happy to second with those changes, Chair. Thank you.
Honorable Mackenzie would second. I must say, honorable members, I do have some connection issues here. I just hope we can still proceed. I'll try to keep the camera on, but if it does give me problems, I'm sure it will be understood that it's for progress sake. If I'm not mistaken now, Hajira, you'll clarify. We are on the minutes of the 26th.
26th of May, Chair.
Yes, 26th of May. May I just check if
sorry, Chair.
there are any matters that ordinary member? Yes, yes,
the Thursday, 21 May.
Did I jump here? I don't have 21st May. Oh, don't have. No.
Okay, those minutes is when the committee considered and adopted the report recommending candidates for appointment in the MDDA board. We had a subcommittee and a full committee, but Chairperson, as we proceed, I'll just try and share them with members so that maybe later we can then look at them. Thank you, Chairperson.
Yeah, I've tried to look at that. I don't have it on mine. I've seen the adoption in other minutes for the MDDA one.
Chair, can I assist?
Yes, Honorable Mackenzie.
I see there's a set of minutes on that date for the MDDA that came as part of the MDDA pack. Perhaps it's those minutes that Thembinkosi is referring to.
Yeah, yes, Honorable Mackenzie. I think, as he says, he'll probably share because I'm trying to look at the minutes I've received, and I'm starting to get that. But because these were sent by Hajira, that's why I'm verifying if we are looking at the same minutes.
Yes, we are having those minutes indeed. That's where we were adopting all the candidates or when we were shortlisting those candidates of MDDA chair only.
And that is the
21st May. It was on Thursday.
Okay. No, all I'm raising, Honorable Kubeka, is that from the set I have.
Okay.
I was trying to get it, but I see the one of the 26th.
Okay, it's the 21st, this one. Straight and forward, it was just when we were, approving those 10 names. It's 20. 20 names. 20 names.
Yes, the shortlisting.
Yes, Chair.
Okay. Yeah, just that I saw it in the other minutes also appearing. No, it's fine. It's unless there are questions members have there, so that I don't delay the meeting.
Okay.
I'll still get it shared to me.
But
because members do have and they have gone through the minutes, may I just check if there's any matter? If not, formally move for adoption of those minutes.
I'll be the one who's moving, Chair.
Okay, Honorable Kubeka moves. Can I get a seconder?
Chair, I'm happy to second the 26th of May. Thank you.
No, we're still on the 21st.
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 I'll second that.
So the 21st. Okay, that's fine. Seconded. May I then check the 26th?
I'm sorry, Chairperson, just with one correction, please.
Yes.
For the minutes of the 21st of May, you've got Honourable Van Dam in attendance. Are you sure that wasn't me? No, sorry, Chairperson, it was Honourable Van Dam. I can't second those. I wasn't at that meeting. She stood in for me.
Chairperson, can I assist?
Yes.
On the minutes of the 21st, Chairperson, I think Mr. Mackenzie, I'm not sure if you would remember, we had two meetings. We started with the subcommittee, where the subcommittee agreed on the 20 names, then it presented them to the committee, and that meeting started at 19:55. And on my list, both Ms. Van Dam and Mr. Mackenzie were present.
Yes.
Because it was then a full committee meeting.
Now, if it adopted the MDDA, Honorable Mackenzie, I still remember the reference would have been he represented well. In that
Honorable Van Dam, yes.
But all I'm saying is that the reason I was not making reference to them was because I do not have that copy. I've tried to look for it. Okay. But members have gone through it. It's a meeting of members, and they are satisfied with it. So Honorable Mackenzie would have seconded and made, of course, and that correction is now cleared. On the 26th, because I want us to formalize this, 26th May?
26th May.
Yeah, there again is just one correction that one noted. I just check if members would have any corrections to make. 26 May. Just check if there's a mover for adoption of minutes and a seconder. So that Honorable Mackenzie moves. Can I get a seconder?
I second, Chair.
Seconded, so the minutes are adopted.
Yes, Chair.
May I then just check again that the ones on my list that followed the 19th of June.
That's correct, Chair.
Right, 19th of June. Even there are some corrections. Otherwise, one is fine with the minutes. May I just check, Honorable Mackenzie?
Yes, thank you, Chairperson. On page 3, at the beginning, Mr. Sutherland, I see throughout the document we call Professor Sutherland or Dr. Sutherland Mr. Sutherland, so perhaps we could correct his title. The first bullet point under presentation on introduction to spectrum, the first bullet point says Marconi. That doesn't mean anything. That's just a name. Can I suggest that we replace that with a brief description and history of spectrum, because I think that that covers Marconi's involvement in discovering the spectrum and that sort of thing. But Marconi means nothing. So I think he opened his presentation with a history and description of what spectrum is. So perhaps we could change that bullet point to reflect that.
Yeah, honourable members, as I said, you can make that submission, Honourable Mackenzie. It doesn't change the content. I think it just enriches what is the understanding from that seminar.
Thank you, Chair. I have some other points. On page 4, under deliberations, point 1, on the second, the performance, are you with me, Chair? Can I continue?
Yeah, yes, Honourable Mackenzie, I'm with you. It's just that my point here is to just go back to what we have agreed upon.
I am, Chair. This is
Yes.
quite an important point.
Yes, no, this is the point I'm trying to make, is that what we agreed upon is to record that you have corrections to make, which will then be able to get submission from you on all the points you are submitting. But
all right,
whether the content is reflecting the true reflection of the meeting or not, it's what we are dealing with in the approval or adoption of the minutes. Now, I'm raising that because, as I said, when I recorded, for example, that on this one, there are corrections one would want to make, it will probably be different paragraphs, which may take the meeting longer. But what is important is to place it on record that we had agreed that you'll make corrections on these minutes so that those are submitted as such. And as I said, then the corrected version of the minutes will then be circulated again to all members. Will that assist going forward?
Thank you, Chair. I hear you, and I am very sympathetic to that position. The problem is we can't approve if there are matters of substance in the minutes that are incorrect. I don't think we can approve or second. We actually have to stand these minutes over then until they're corrected before we table them before the committee again. Just as far as process goes, it's not many things, but they are quite important. And I've got 2 or 3 points, Chair. And
yes, Mr. Mackenzie, if we agree on that, those corrections are related to a grammatical or whatever. But if they affect content, that's where you can speak on that.
Thank you. Because these are factual.
Yes. So that's yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. On page 4, under point 5, deliberations, we say the performance of South Africa on the international stage was limited, and South Africa had not ratified or signed many treaties, with the exception of the Budapest Convention and the African Union Convention. That is not true. There were only 2 treaties, one of which hadn't been signed and the other one hadn't been ratified. So this point implies that there are a whole lot of treaties that we never signed or ratified that we should have done as a country, and that's not true. So can I suggest that we replace reading as follows, as long as Tim Minkosi is with me, on the international stage was limited, and South Africa had not signed one treaty and ratified another. and then just leave it at that.
Have you been able to capture that, Secretariat?
I captured it, Chairperson. Can Mr. Mackenzie just point out the number for us? I've
Yes.
captured one, but Mr. Mackenzie, could you just point out the number again?
Page 4, number 5, deliberations, the first bullet point.
Have you captured that?
My page 4, number 5 says that the intervention made by the regulator was inadequate to ensure that there was effective competition in the market. Are we on the same page, Mr. Mackenzie?
We are on the same page, yes, but go up to point 1. So sorry, it's section 5.1. The performance of South Africa on the international stage.
Got it, Mr. Mackenzie.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, Honorable Mackenzie, any other matter on content?
Thank you. Yes, please. Under point 5, which is where you were earlier, Hajira, can I suggest, instead of saying wasn't effective at promoting competition, can I suggest that we change that to read, because that doesn't reflect my recollection, that interventions made by the regulator were relatively ineffective in ensuring greater competition in the market. Because that point, if you leave it as it is, implies that everything the regulator did was ineffective, which isn't true. It wasn't that effective at promoting greater competition. The competition exists, it just wasn't that effective. So if we could just change that, Hajira, if you're following me, that interventions made by the regulator were relatively ineffective in ensuring greater competition in the market.
And we remove was inadequate to ensure we remove the rest of the regulator. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Chair. Then if I can go to section 7 or point 7 on page 5. Number 4, just indicate when you're ready with me, Hajira.
I'm ready, Mr. Mackenzie.
That starts off that in Japan, a very sophisticated 5G network was built. And this is where I'm going to change it to what he said. Was built by a Japanese manufacturer of 5G infrastructure, and this model was worth considering for the SA case. Because that's what Professor Sutherland said. He said, I think we were discussing the various suppliers in the world of 5G infrastructure, and he said that a Japanese company, I think we were talking about Huawei, he said a Japanese manufacturer had actually manufactured a 5G network.
Can you just repeat, Mr. Mackenzie? Can you just repeat that one part?
Sure. So the section starts that in Japan, a very sophisticated 5G network was built and then insert by a Japanese manufacturer of 5G infrastructure. And this model was worth considering, etc., etc.
Got it, Mr. Mackenzie.
Thank you, Hajira, and thank you, Chair. I'm done on that. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chair, for your indulgence.
Thank you, Honourable Mackenzie. With those corrections that have been made, can I then get a mover and a seconder for the adoption of minutes? Honourable Mackenzie moves. Can I get a seconder so that we pass these minutes of the 19th? May I get a seconder?
Sleep. I talk too much.
May I get a seconder for the minutes formally?
I second the Chair.
Honorable Kumbu seconds. Then that takes us to the 24th of June. Am I correct, Hajira?
23rd.
Were we on the 23rd now, Chair? 23rd.
23rd of June.
23rd of June, yes.
Got them now. All right. On the 23rd of June. Are we all there?
Yeah.
Yes, I have corrections, yes, there, but may I just check other members? Honorable Mackenzie.
Thank you, Chairperson. On page 4, bullet point 12, X11. Are you with me, Hajira?
I'm there.
Thank you, Chair. That the major risk associated with WOAN is its viability in terms of minimum capacity to take off. No. So if you can take out after capacity, take out to take off and insert for spectrum take off, because it, to take off. Are you with me, Hajira? So replace to take.
I'm with you, Mr. Mackenzie. I got it.
For spectrum takeoff. Thank you. And then moving on to page 5. Chairperson, I remember this quite clearly. I raised 2 points, and this is where I'm going to ask for your support. I raised 2 points under the provision of IDTVs that haven't been included in the minutes. I would ask that they are. I'm not sure. Yeah. So after point C, I would like to insert point D, that the committee questioned the timeline of the rollout of IDTVs and whether these would be in time for this year's matriculants and their exams. That was the one point. And my second point was the committee raised the question of the necessity of a TV license for each set and how indigent households could afford this cost. Would you agree with the insertion of those 2 points, Chairperson?
You are talking to deliberations, right? Not on the recommendations.
Yes, committee deliberations on page 5, under 15, XV.
Okay, I see Honorable Kubeka, you wanted to speak? Honorable Kubeka, did you want to speak or you? No, I saw you switching your camera and mic on, so I just thought you wanted to speak before I respond to it.
Can you respond, Chair?
All right. No, thanks. Honorable Mackenzie, that's why I wanted to know whether you're talking deliberations or recommendations. Because in the deliberations, yes, that would have been there. I agree with you, because it was a matter raised.
Thank you.
But of course, with the responses, that's what changed the recommendation. Remember that there was, please mute your mic, Honorable Kubeka. Then there was an explanation that this is more of the DTT complementary project going forward. But for the point of deliberations, it has to be captured because the matter was raised. So I agree with you. For as long we make that distinction.
Thank you.
Yes, you can proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Hajira, did you capture those 2 points?
So, Mr. Mackenzie, I'm just going to read it. D would say that the committee questioned the timeline for the rollout of IDTVs and whether this would be in time for
this year's matriculants and their exams.
Got that one. And then E would be a necessity of a TV license for each set And how indigents could afford these costs?
Indigent households could afford this cost, yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Got it.
Perfect.
Can I add something, Chair?
Yes, Honorable Faku. Let me check if it's me.
I was
because
part of that
problems.
meeting. The way that I understood the consolidation of. Can you hear me, Chair?
Yeah, you are better now. Yes.
Thank you, Chair. I was part of that meeting. I don't know if the capturing is correct. One of the recommendations that we've made is that all beneficiaries of the ITTV must pay TV license. That was
Yes.
the recommendation
Yes, Honorable.
of the committee.
Yes, Honorable Faku. Honorable Faku, I think you are correct. You are correct. That's why I was trying to make the distinction that in the deliberations, yes, those points were made, but in the actual recommendation after there's been clarity, these matters would have been raised like you are raising them. So we just need to be sure it's captured also as such, which the department said they would come back because the cost needed to look at whether there is this thing included or not, because the costs were determined more from National Treasury, if my memory still serves me well, in terms of that discussion. And Honorable Mackenzie, you are also fine with it that it's in the deliberations, but the actual recommendation of the committee could have been something different. You are fine, Honorable Fab. You are still together.
Yes, Chair. Thanks.
Yes.
Yes, Chair.
Can I then, if you are done, Honorable Mackenzie, can I then try to get a mover and a seconder, taking into account these corrections, especially on the content that would have been made?
I'm happy to move, Chair.
That's Honorable Mackenzie. Can I then get a seconder?
Seconded, Chair. Thanks.
Honorable Faku seconds. That would have been the 23rd. We now move to the 24th.
24th June, Chair.
Yes, 24th of June. Yes, there are corrections to be made there. I'll forward mine. May I just check if members would want to record anything at this point on the minutes of the 24th June? If not, can I then have a mover and a seconder formally so that we pass them? I get a mover and a seconder for the 24th of June.
Honorable Chair, I move.
Is that Honorable Mtembo?
Yes, Honorable Chair, thank you.
All right, thank you. Honorable Mtembo moves. May I get a seconder? Honorable Mackenzie seconds, even though your mic is muted, but I can see you are raising your head and speaking. So it's seconded. We will then move to the next set of minutes. Just want to be sure, Ajira, that I'm on the
7th July, Chair.
Sounds right. 7th of July. The one on the 7th of July, may I just check if there are any matters that members would want to raise? I noted just about 2 or 3 corrections to be made. Any takers, honorable members? If not, may I get also a formal mover for adoption and a seconder?
I'll move, Chair.
Honorable Mackenzie moves. Can we get a seconder, honorable members?
I second, Chair.
Honorable Kubeka seconds. Thank you. Then that takes to 8 July. Is that correct, Ajura?
Correct, Chairperson.
Okay, on the 8th of July, again, as I said, few grammatical corrections to make there. May I check if members have got any matter to raise at this point for record? If not, can I also again have a formal mover and a seconder for the adoption of the minutes of the 8th of July?
8th of July.
Yes.
I move for the adoption of the minutes, Chair.
Honorable Gombo moves for adoption. May I get a seconder?
Honorable Kubeka, second.
Honorable Kubeka seconds. We now move to the 14th of July. Minutes of committee meeting held on the 14th
14th
of July. Right, a few corrections there to make, but the other relates to content that we may just need to rework there on the first paragraph, where it talks about the consideration of the letters that the committee considered a letter dated 7 July from the National Assembly as a referral, and 3 letters dated 30th June, 13th July, and again on the 13th of July from the minister as part of the referral to the committee. Then you can have the other line there, because it makes it as though the 3 letters include the referral letter of the speaker, when in fact we do have 3 letters from the minister herself with those dates. Yes, on the 13th you have 2 letters from the minister, which we also engaged collectively as part of the referral. So that's something we may need to rework so that it comes out clear. Otherwise, in the way it's written, it's like a distortion of what really happened. Otherwise, as I said, others will just be grammatical corrections to make. That's when we considered the letters in relation to the appointment of ICASA, the responses of the minister. May I then check if there are other members who want to raise any matter? Otherwise, we get just a mover for the adoption and seconder.
I move for adoption.
Honorable Fakumus, is that there's a committee 2-2, your mic is on, so it's disrupting me a bit. I thought it's a member wanted to speak. Honorable Mackenzie, I saw your hand up.
Thank you, Chair. I'm very proud to second these minutes as an example of how effective committee parliamentary oversight over the executive is. I'm very proud to second these minutes. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Mackenzie. The minutes are seconded. That's the minutes of the 14th of July. Ajira, mine says 21st July.
21st, correct, Chairperson.
Yes, honorable members, that's the one for the 21st of July. Of course, there are just a few corrections there that one has noted. May I just check again, honorable members, if there are those members who would want to make any further corrections? May I just check on that? If not, may I get also a mover for adoption of the minutes and a seconder? Honorable members, May I get the mover and seconder?
Chair, I'll move for you.
Honorable Mackenzie moves. Can I get a seconder? That's the first day of the 2 days for SABC related matters. May I get a seconder?
Honorable Gubega seconded.
Honorable Kubeka seconds.
Is for the first day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we then, Hajira, if you can also just help just to be sure that we are on the same page now.
The minutes for the 22nd of July was set this morning, Chairperson. There was an error yesterday, so we discard that one. We take the latest one sent this morning. Minutes 22nd July.
Yeah, honorable members, I think with regard to this set of minutes, because of the changes that would have happened today, I will take it a bit slow so that you can be able to point out everything you want to point out. Because I didn't sleep, I worked on those that I received. And so this was this morning. So I would want to make sure that we've not lost anything there. May I just? Yes, Honorable Van Dam.
Sorry, Chair. If we could just go back to the 21st, if you don't mind. I would like it to be on record that we expressed our disappointment that the SABC was not allowed to present. I think that is very important, and I would like that reflected in the records.
Okay, so you think the way it's put as objecting, as it's not covering.
Exactly, it was presented like there was unanimity there, and there wasn't.
No, Honorable Van Dam, it's unless we are not looking at the same. I thought it's recorded as such towards the end. But can I just check? There's no harm because that's a true reflection of the meeting.
I apologize. I apologize. I see that end. I'm sorry.
So, no, that's fine because the minutes have already been moved and adopted as true reflection. But I also didn't want that we are like rushing them because there's anything to hide. I think there's nothing to hide. The discussions were open. It's recorded. So you very late. Can we then move to the next minutes, the 22nd? As I said, honorable members, I do understand that even yourselves having got changes this morning. I will take it a bit slow on this one, just to check if members have got any matters to raise on those minutes where we were listening to external, to the stakeholders in the SABC. Any takers on the minutes? So if not, may I then get again a formal mover for adoption and seconder? Mover for adoption and seconder so that we formalize, honorable members. May I get a mover and a seconder?
I move for adoption, Chairperson.
Honorable Faku moves for adoption of the minutes. Can I get a seconder so that we are off these minutes? May I get a seconder?
Chair.
Honorable Kubeka.
I'm worried because, I don't have these sets that they are saying they have sent it this morning. That is why I'm a little bit skeptic to say anything. I don't know what can assist me or in that last set of the minutes, Chair. I don't have it.
So, Honorable Kubeka,
if Ajira can send me also
to receive those, so if you can then send. But as I said, probably there'll be few changes from what one has received. That's why I was going slow, because members may have also experienced the same, that you work on something, then something changes. But I would want to be guided by yourselves. There's a mover. I think we can just put a rider in the same way we did with others. If there are matters to be raised, let's raise them. If they are of content in nature, maybe let's agree that we'll then have to put that back to the committee. Will that help members? Yeah. I'm saying if the changes that you propose are affecting the content, we'll then have to bring them back. But if they are grammatical, having made comparison of what we already received on the same minutes, then we can proceed along those lines. Will that make members at least comfortable in terms of what they are approving? Will that be fine? So if that is fine, can I then get just formally a seconder, of course, with the rider that I've put, so that it's understood when we bring them back that it will be because content is affected by changes members would have submitted.
Thank you, Chair. I will second on that basis. Thank you.
Okay. That is seconded, Honourable Mackenzie. So in that score, would have dealt with those minutes. Ajira, may I just check in relation to this first set of minutes whether I'm leaving any?
That's the last, Chair, and I've also sent the minutes to the WhatsApp group, and I'm sending it now to Ms. Kubeka again.
Okay. All right. No, thanks for that. Which then takes us, is it to the next item? That's the program, right? As I said, I'm struggling with some, with also a connection on my side. I'm trying to open up on my own email. I'm struggling.
Yes, Chair.
It's in relation to the program. Honourable members, just to indicate so that it guides us on how we think we should approach the program. As you know, in the course of the program that we move from time, there are matters of referral that come to the committee, but there are also matters of public interest that come which we may not have scheduled for the program. And in the work of this committee, we've been able to make applications to Parliament to amend our program in order to accommodate those. Now I'm raising this because you have received questions based on inputs of members in terms of what the SAPC needs to respond to, in terms of what the department needs to respond to, as well as capturing what other internal stakeholders would have raised in SAPC. And you'd remember that we said SAPC must also be afforded an opportunity to come back for the committee and be able to respond to those. And it is this committee that also said, at the time of such a response, we'll also have the other stakeholders in the same meeting in case matters need to be clarified, they get clarified once and for all than to be going to and fro. We have now afforded members an opportunity to look at what has been captured by the content advisor, so that if there are matters that have been left out, those could be included and we don't raise them only at the time that the SABC is before us. It must be on the basis that they were responding to those specific matters that would have been raised. It's against this background then that I've also asked the support staff that as they interact with the SABC and the department, that they themselves also give us an indication on their readiness with proper responses, which would be in writing, so that when we amend our own program, we take that into account instead of convening them for tomorrow and they come tomorrow still not ready for the answers that we need. So I'm just giving this, honorable members, as a way of guiding how we need to look at the program, in that there are timelines where we needed to submit to the House Chair, but our program has to be relevant to also what is happening around our work. And that's why from time to time, we'll apply and change some of the items and bring others forward. So as the program is presented, it is in that context. So there may be items that you feel strongly that they needed to come in. We will be able to juggle around such, but we needed to have something to put also before the House Chair's office, so that they understand that the committee is ready to secure certain dates for certain meetings. So the program is presented to yourselves, but as I said, even if we adopt it, we must bear in mind the issues that I've raised, because if we are so stiff in terms of what needs to be done, we'll also lose relevance in terms of what could be happening when, as a committee, we could show agility in the way we look at things. So that's the program, honorable members. I will present it for your engagement. That Honorable Mackenzie, Honorable Faku, Honorable Van Dam, Honorable Kubeka, in that order.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, just can I ask whoever's mic is on to mute it? There's an echo.
I'm also trying to check who the person is.
There we go, Chair. Just on Wednesday, the 19th of August, I think this is actually a very substantial program. On the 19th of August, if we could have ICASA participate in that meeting as well, I think that would be quite important, because we would have certain questions, I reckon, that only ICASA could deal with at that time. We also, it would give us an additional opportunity, I think, to engage with ICASA around the issue of spectrum auctions, that is quite topical at the moment, as well as the Minister's policy directive around rapid deployment that she issued last week, that has created all kinds of frankly, havoc in my life because of some ill-advised wording. So I think it would be very useful to have ICASA around on the 19th of August, just to give us some further ideas and thinking into that policy directive that the Minister issued the other day. I think that's a very important addition to the program. And then on Wednesday, the 2nd of September, if you're going to engage with SOS Support Public Broadcasting, which I think is great, they had a very large role to play in the previous actions at the SABC and the allegations of mismanagement, and they were quite strong in effecting the necessary changes. So I think at that meeting, given the sort of fairly wide brief or subject topic matter of that meeting, if we could have the SABC there as well as the MDDA, I think, you know, they also have quite a large role to play in public broadcasting on the community side. So it would be good to have some sort of reputation from them as well. I also support strongly the members training at the Wits Link Centre. I think that's a very useful addition. Thank you, Chairperson.
Honourable Mackenzie. Honourable Faku.
Thank you, Chairperson. I did not hear what you were saying, Chairperson. My network got kicked out. If you can give honourable members and just give me the last. Thanks, Chair.
Okay, Honourable Fanda.
Thank you, Chair. It's a very good program. I would just make one request that our first meeting be with the SABC, following our commitment to engage with them after the meeting with the unions. I have seen the written questions were submitted to the SABC, which are very, very good and comprehensive. But I thought it might be a good idea just to have that meeting sooner rather than later, given what is happening to the SABC, and if maybe they can speak to, hopefully submit a presentation that covers those questions. But I thought it's important to have that as soon as possible. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Van Dam. Honourable Faku, I'm not sure if you are ready to come in on your comments on the program at this point before I give to Honourable Kubeka, because it was the four of you. Okay, I'm sure then there's still a problem of connection there. Honourable Kubeka?
Thank you, Chair. On the issue of the program, Chair, I think I fully aligned with you based on what is happening actually in the Parliament, Chair, to say whatever that we are doing, we also need to align ourselves actually. So it needs not to be difficult where it's supposed to have some changes, Chair. So at the moment, no complaint. I think we are aligned. We are fully supported the program as long as these agent matters that we want also to attend on it. We are having that chance or the space in order to deal with those issues. So up to so far, we are fully concur with the program, Chair, as long as we know that when needs arise or times arise, in order for the changes, we also need to acclimatize ourselves with that situation, Chair. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you, honourable members. The program is adopted from the inputs you've made with an understanding about flexibility. As I said, honourable members, with regard to the SABC, indeed we are also dependent on the responses from the different people. One, as I said, is the SABC itself responding to these questions, which will then form part of the presentation that they will give to us. So that's why I wanted to also, which is what we are doing through the support staff, their readiness to come before the committee with proper answers, because it also doesn't help us that they come and we still complain that they have not responded to the matters that we have raised. We rather have a meaningful discussion where there are responses. Secondly, it's in relation to the department itself, because other tasks that need to assist the SABC have to be done by the department. We also need such a report in writing, which will then again, honourable members, confirm the point, continue to make, that this is really not about the board or the executive management of SABC as we see it today, but it's us trying to find solutions to the SABC as a public national broadcaster, and that those problems need all of us to play a role to turn the situation around. So if they were to respond earlier, which is also, it means you responding earlier as members, whether you want to stress certain points which may be left out of what has been captured and be able to respond by 12 as you have been asked for tomorrow. and then we are able to send it back to all the relevant people, and we can get tentative dates. We are able to amend the program accordingly, so that we bring them in even earlier, Honorable Van Dam. So in that way, we are balanced as the program is adopted from a point of flexibility, so that we are relevant to what is happening in the sector. Having said that, I think with regard to the first meeting, it would appear that we have exhausted all the matters, Ajira, unless I've left any other matter on the first meeting.
Chairperson, just on the program, the 19th of August, Wednesday, we are going to include CSIR. We have sent letters. I've just neglected to put it in there. CSIR will also be included on the 19th of August.
No, that's fine. As I said, if we have agreed on the program, we'll have those flexibilities, but also trying to make each engagement meaningful, like other suggestions that have come through in the committee itself now, will also be factored in. Having said that, honorable members, it then takes us to a point where I must say that one really appreciates the time, the effort you are putting to keep the committee to its task, and that if we work as a team continuously, we will really help South Africans ensure that oversight is really our commitment on this side of the state. With that, this meeting stays at yes.
Just a mover for the program, please.
Oh, there was a mover after Honorable Mackenzie made the additions. He indicated that he was able with the program. Honorable Kubeka would have also done the same. It's unless I'm speaking for yourselves now.
Wonderful. Thank you.
That's the sense I got. Is that true, Honorable Mackenzie and Honorable Kubeka?
Yes.
Honorable Mackenzie?
Chair, with Honourable Van Dam's inclusion of the SABC comments, as you correctly summarised, I would be happy to second the programme. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Honourable Kubeka, seconded then by Honourable Mackenzie. Let's maybe record it in that way. So that takes us to the end of this one. The next meeting is a subcommittee meeting for the MDDA. Am I correct?
Chairperson, if you can start with ICASA.
Is that the case? So we start with ICASA.
Yes, sir.
All right. So if we start with the ICASA subcommittee.
Yes, Chairperson.
Yes.
Yes, Chairperson.
So yes, for other members, it would mean that those that are not in the ICASA subcommittee, they can still be logged in, but we will also not hold them hostage. In that case, in case they want to switch off their cameras and wait for the next meeting because they participate in there. But we can proceed on the basis that those members are here. So we are also having a quorum on ICASA, right?
Yes, Chairperson, we do have a quorum because we have yourself, Ms. Van Dam, Ms. Faku, Ms. Kubeka, and Dr. Ndlozi was logged on. I've noticed now that he is no longer logged on. You'll remember he had an issue to raise regarding his name not appearing on the attendance list of the interviews. But Chairperson, we do have 4 members, so we can proceed with the subcommittee on the ICASA because we're 7 members. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to, because as I said, I'm struggling here also with connection. I can't open my emails. Maybe then the Secretariat will help us by just directing to the actual dates of the minutes we need to approve.
Yes, Chairperson, I will assist with the Chairperson. The first set of minutes, Chairperson and honorable members, is the minutes of Tuesday, 11 February 2020, when the subcommittee on ICASA met to consider and adopt its draft subcommittee program, and also to shortlist candidates for vacancies in the Independent Communications Authority of South Africa, ICASA Council Chair.
Okay. Okay, honorable members of the subcommittee, if I may just indicate just for record that as we proceed, learning from another meeting, is that if members have got grammatical errors that need to be corrected, you will just maybe place that on record that you'll be making such a submission, unless it relates to content. Then in relation to content, we can look at that. Otherwise, I would need a mover and seconder for adoption of minutes. We now entertain the minutes of the 11th of February. May I invite members who would want to record any corrections? If not, can I get a mover and a seconder?
Chairperson,
Honorable Kubeka.
I move for the adoption of this report as a true reflection as it appears here, Chairperson. Thank you.
May I get a seconder? May I get a seconder, honorable members of the subcommittee? So if I don't have a second, I'm unable to say the minutes were adopted. Honorable members, are you still connected, or you can't hear me? Maybe the problem may be on my side, because I've waited patiently for members of the subcommittee to approve minutes.
What do you call that thing? That one that you're requesting, I do it.
Seconds. No, wake up. Fandam seconds. Honorable Kubeka moved. Can we then get to the next set of minutes?
Yes, Chairperson. The next set of minutes, Chairperson, is for Tuesday, 25 February 2020. That's when the committee held ICASA interviews for the ICASA Council. And Chairperson, as Mr. Ndlozi had earlier indicated that he was not marked on the attendance register. That has since been corrected. He was part of the interviews, Chairperson. So it's the 25th of February, Chairperson, and then it's the 26th of February and the 27th of February. All those three meetings, it was just interviews for the ICASA Council candidates. Thank you, Chairperson.
There we are again, honorable members. Let's start whether there are corrections to be made. At least on this one, it has already been effected in terms of attendance. May I just check? If not, can I get again a mover and a seconder?
Mover.
Honorable Van Dam moves. Can I get a seconder?
Second, Chair.
Honorable Kubeka seconds. Can we get to the next set of minutes?
Thank you, Chairperson. As indicated, Chair, there's the 26th of February, which is also interviews for ICASA Council.
No, the members would have agreed to those
all right.
Minutes as you come.
Yeah, on the 4th May.
So we need the next set of minutes.
All right, Chairperson, the next minutes would be the 4th of May, where the committee interviewed the remaining candidate, Ms. Mutlenyana Mukele, the subcommittee. Thank you, Chairperson.
Honorable members, may I then check if there's any matter to correct, failing which can I get a mover and a seconder? Let's wake up. Let's move. Let's move.
I second, Chair.
I move, Chair.
Honorable Kubega moves, Honorable Fandam seconds. Can we get the next one?
Yes, Chairperson, the last set of minutes for the ICASA Council Subcommittee Chairperson would be of Monday, 11 February, when the committee was deliberating. Sorry, 11 May. Sorry, Honorable Member, thank you. 11th May 2020, Chairperson, when the committee was deliberating on the interviewed candidates for the vacancies in the council. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you. May I just check, Honorable members, again, if there are any corrections to make, failing which, can I get a mover and a seconder? Again, I will have to say, wake up, wake up.
I move. I'm the only one awake, Chair.
Honorable Fandam, no, Honorable Kubeka is white.
Chair,
Yourself, Honorable Kubeka, you're second. Honorable Fandam moves, Honorable Kubeka second.
Fandam.
So this is Temingosi, that was the last slide, right?
That was the last one for ICASA Council Chairperson. You can proceed to move to the MDDA.
All right, thanks, honorable members. This meeting of the subcommittee stays adjourned. We now move to the next level. As I said, you can still be logged in or do other things, but whatever you do, make sure that your camera is off and your mic is off, just to avoid you interrupting our meeting. Thank you, honorable members. Now move to the next one. Bye. We'll move to the next one. Can we just get confirmation, Temingosi, that the MDDA one is correct?
Chairperson for MDDA, we have yourself, we have Ms. Faku, we have Mr. Pambo, we have Mr. Gumbo, we have Ms. Kupeka that are logged on, Chairperson. So we're good to go. Sorry, Chairperson, we have Honorable Mackenzie, Mr. Mackenzie, Chairperson. Thank you, Chairperson.
Okay. Honorable Mackenzie is here. So may I just check with regard to MDDA, just to be sure that we have the same set of minutes. You'll correct me there. You have the 4th of May, 11th of May, right?
Yes, Chairperson.
And you also have, is it the 21st?
21 May, yes, Chairperson.
27,
yes,
8,
yes,
29, that's May, then the 14th of July.
Yes, Chairperson.
Is that the case? Okay. So if that is it, we'll then move even quicker. Honorable members of the subcommittee, this is the subcommittee for MDDA. Will indeed, learning from other meetings, have a similar approach. I'll give you, Honorable Mackenzie, I saw your hand. I just want to dispense with the formality here, that we are going to do the same with regard to handing off the minutes. If it's grammatical errors, we'll just indicate that those corrections you would be submitting. It's unless it affects the content. In that case, that would be raised, because it then changes what is written in that score. Otherwise, it will just be moving and seconding in order to effect adoption of the minutes. But before I proceed, I saw you, Honorable Mackenzie, as I indicated the dates. I saw your hand up. Maybe you want to just clarify yourself on one thing. Over to you.
Yes, thank you, Chairperson. Firstly, I enjoyed the last meeting immensely as a spectator. I thought you chaired it with great humour. Chair, I didn't hear Thembinkosi say anything about minutes on the 11th. I may have misheard, but I have a set of minutes from the 11th of May as well. Is that correct? Thank you, Chair.
Yes, I've counted those. I said it's the 4th, it's the 11th, the 21st, the 26th of May, 27th, 28th, 29th of May, then the 14th of July. You have them in that order. Okay. Now, thanks, Honorable Mayor.
You're freezing, Chairperson. I'm not sure if other members can hear you.
He has freezed.
He has. It's the weather here in Joburg. It's very cold.
Yeah, can't hear you.
He's right inside their minds.
In the dreams. But he looks very handsome in that picture, actually. And he looks good in blue as well.
Hey, okay, you have won him. He must start afresh to log in.
Yeah, probably. I'm sure we can wait. I can show you my cup in the meantime. It says, morning handsome. It's to give me a bit of a lift every morning.
Afternoon now.
I hope you're all warm, colleagues, and safe.
Honorable Mackenzie, we are trying our level best.
I know, it's tough time.
We are praying on daily basis. And for everyone.
Absolutely. Difficult times.
Aye, this is difficult times. Thembinkosi, can't you tell the chair to start afresh?
I see Thembinkosi is also dressed in blue. It's obviously the new color.
Yeah, I can see this is the color of the day today. It's only me.
Honorable members, the chairperson is experiencing connection problems. As those members that are in Joburg would know that the weather is terrible there. He has since asked that I request Ms. Kubeka to proceed until he joins in. Thank you, Ms. Kubeka.
Okay, thanks very much, Thembinkosi. I think we will start with the first set of the, is it 11th?
It's the 4th of May. The first set is the 4th.
The 4th of May. Can we start with those minutes?
Thank you, Honorable Kubeka. On the 4th of May, the subcommittee on MDDA held a meeting where the discussion was on the shortlisting of candidates. It was a committee discussion on the process that it was to follow in shortlisting candidates for MDDA. Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks very much, Thembinkosi. If there is somebody who wants to raise something or clarity or to correct on those minutes, we can do so. If there is none, can we have a mover and a seconder?
I'm happy to move, Honorable Kubeka.
Thank you, Honorable Mackenzie. Can we have a seconder?
I'm seconding.
Thanks very much. Let's go to the second set of the minutes, which is on the
11th. It's also
11th.
on the 11th of May, honorable member.
Thank you very much.
And that's when the committee shortlisted candidates for the MDD. Sorry, that's when the committee also had the discussion again on the shortlisting of candidates for MDDA board. You'll remember in that meeting, Mr. Mackenzie also requested that we make some corrections in terms of numbering the candidates. And yes, that's that meeting. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks very much, Tembinkosi. Is there anyone who want to raise something or to add also maybe, or to have a clarity on that? If there is none, can we have the mover and the seconder? Honorable Gumbo.
Thank you, Chair. I move for the adoption of the minutes as a true reflection of what transpired out of that meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Gumbo.
I'm happy to second, Honourable Kuberka.
Thank you, Honourable Mackenzie.
Thank you, Chairperson. Moving to the next minutes, Chairperson, they are for the subcommittee, 21st of May.
1st of May, yes.
Yes, Chair, the subcommittee met and shortlisted candidates for the MDDA board. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Members, can we hear from that set of the minutes of the 21st of May? Are we fine, all of us? Where is Honorable Mpambo Tembinkosi? Is he available?
Yes, Honorable Pambo is in the meeting.
Okay,
I think the old chair must come back.
Thanks to hear the voice. I can't continue without hearing anything from Honorable Mpambo.
Yeah, when I have something powerful, I will give it to you.
Okay, thanks very much. If there is nothing to add or to say in these minutes, can we move? Members, are we fine? Silence mean consent?
Yes, Chair.
Yes. So without any waste of time, can we have the one who's moving and the seconding the minutes?
Thank you, Chair. Honorable Faku, I move for adoptions of the minutes. Thanks.
Thank you, Honorable Faku is moving. Can we have a seconder?
I second, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Gumbo.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. The next set of minutes is 4 sets of minutes. That's from the 26th of May till the 29th of May, the 4-day marathon, where this committee worked very hard into the night, interviewing the 20 candidates it had shortlisted for the MDDA board.
These are the minutes, honorables, members. When we were busy.
Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Faku.
Thank you, Chairperson. I move for adoption of the minutes. Thanks.
Honorable Faku have moved.
Sorry, Chair, just clarity first, please.
Yes.
Are we reading all 4 sets of minutes together?
All 4, yes, the 4 sets from the 26th up to the 29th, on those days when we were busy with the interviews, Honorable Mackenzie.
Thank you, Chair. If you can just give me a minute quickly, just to go. Yes, I have one correction, Chairperson, please.
Okay.
On the 27th of May,
27th of May.
On page 2, Under interviews of candidates, on the third line, we've got Miss Blaze Coetzee. I think her name is Blaze.
It's Blaze, yes. Blaze
Um,
Coetzee or Ketzi?
Coetzee. I think the surname is correct, but the first name not so.
Thank you for the correction.
Pleasure, ma'am. If you
thank you very much.
Just 1 second.
You are still in the platform, Honorable Mackenzie.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just flipping through the sets quickly. Yes, if we can go to the minutes of the 29th of May.
29th of May.
Under interviews of candidates.
Yes.
On the second line, the following 3 candidates, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you can change that 3 to 5, and that's my changes done. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mackenzie. So
thank you.
With
Chair,
those amendments, Honorable Faku have moved for the adoption. Is there any seconder? So, Honorable Mackenzie, as we are.
Thank you, Chair. I'll second.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mackenzie. Temkosi.
Thank you, Chair. The last minutes are those of the 14th of July, when the subcommittee met to deliberate on the interviews and eventually recommended to the committee for adoption by the National Assembly for candidates to be appointed to the MDDA board. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks very much, Tembinkosi. This is the last set of the minutes when we were finally having our final candidates, as we have managed to have those 4 candidates. Can I give to the members? Is there anyone who wants to say something? If you are covered, is there any mover?
I'll move.
We're covered, Chair.
Thank you very much. Can you move?
Yep.
Honorable Mackenzie, a seconder.
Seconded.
Thank you, Honorable Gumbu. Honorable Gumbu have seconded. Thanks very much, Tembinkosi. I think this was the last set of the minutes based on that interviews of MDDA. If there is nothing, I can't take over all powers before. Can we just check that the chair have come back before I can officially close the meeting?
Yes, the chairperson is back.
Thanks very much.
Thank you for keeping the seat warm, Honorable Member.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I give back to the chair?
No, thank you, Honorable Kubeka, for acting as a chair. The committee moved quite swiftly, and thanks for that. Thanks, honorable members. This indeed takes us to the end, and this meeting stays adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Chair.
Thank you.
At plenary. Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you. I can see the minds have just decided to take you away from us.
Yes, I got into the deep.
Thanks very much, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you.